Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. This video today is about CEO Albert Bourla, Pfizer, applies C-19 injections. Yes, applies it. And here is Albert right now. We have a interview with Albert about his vaccine hesitancy. Now here's the CEO of a major pharmaceutical manufacturer who is not the first one in line to take that vaccine. And here's the interview. Enjoy the interview. We're going to show you a little bit of this mess. And then most of the data will be down in the description because we've already exposed this mess from Wuhan, China to ANSI, ANAB, the American National Standards Institute, American National Crediting Board. ANSI took over complete control over ANAB in 2018. And what makes matters even better is that they are underwriters for the International Accreditation Forum incorporated in Delaware. You'll see all that mess down below this video. I am going to stand here. I'm going to hold up some stuff for you as this interview with Albert Bourla takes place. I think it was from MSNBC, I forget, Meg Terrell, I think, possibly. But here it is. This is the actual interview, and here we go.
I want to ask you also about a very important issue of vaccine hesitancy. Even folks who get most of their vaccines normally might be hesitant about these vaccines because they were developed so quickly. What do you tell those folks who might be saying, well, I'm going to wait a few months before I get this one?
I would tell them I wish that the situation was not so critical so that they can have the luxury to think about it. But the situation is as deadly as it could be right now with the amounts of deaths or new cases that we are facing. So they need to think it twice. This is a vaccine that was developed without cutting corners from a company with 171 years of credentials. This is a vaccine that was developed in the spotlight and the daylight with all the data being put in servers. This is a vaccine that has been approved in the US by two separate governmental agencies, CDC and FDA, after listening to two separate independent scientific bodies. One is the FDA and the other is the ACIP for the CDC. And this is a vaccine that is getting approved by all authorities in the world. So that should say something to them. And I repeat once more, the decision not to vaccinate will not affect only your health or your life. Unfortunately, it will affect the lives of others and likely the lives of the people you love the most, which are the people that usually you are in contact with. So I think trust science.
Well, and a question for you. I've heard you have not yet had your shot. When do you plan to get it?
The sooner I can, I will. The only sensitivity here, Meg, is that I don't want to have an example that I'm cutting the line. That I am 59 years old, in good health. I'm not working in the front line. So my type is not recommended to get vaccination now. So that's one consideration. On the other hand, our company ran a lot of polls to see what would take people to believe it. And one of the highest ranking, even higher than if Joe Biden takes it, even higher than if the other presidents take it, it is if the CEO of the company takes it. So with that in mind, I'm trying to find a way that I will get vaccinated despite if it is not my time, just to demonstrate the confidence of the company. But we have made a decision that if we have to do that, we will not do it with our executives. So none of the executives or board members will cut the line. They will take it as their age and the occupation type is the time for them to take.
So I'm going to say this, the last part. They took my video down last time because they said we didn't comply with the CDC. Well, you see, the CDC, NIH, FDA, USDA, they all sit on ANSI's board right over by Pfizer and Johnson, who skipped quality processes. Everybody who sits on this ANSI board, ANSI ANAB board, skip quality processes. Make matters worse, they're sitting right over by their accreditation body that 7 different registrars use on that ANSI's board. But I'm going to tell you this as a quality control professional. Out of all of this bullshit, the worst thing that has happened, one of the worst. And they took my video down last time because I was strictly telling about the C-19, but I'm going to tell you at the end of this video so that you get the full impact. What they didn't do is they didn't test the vaccine against medications that you, yes, you have already taken. Blood pressure, thyroid, liver, chemotherapy, all kinds of different drugs that they didn't. That's why it takes 10 years from the development of a vaccine to test. I know they cannot test every interaction, but at least test the major stuff, like the blood pressure medicine. Seems like 2 out of 3 people are on those types of medications. And they just shot the jab in you, and that's it. Whatever happens, the cards are falling. I've known people now who have ended up with blood clots, with a young onset of Parkinson's. I've known people who have pericarditis. After they got rid of it after about 6 to 9 months to stay calm and cool because the doctor said you don't want to overexert yourself, they ended up with arrhythmia. We have all this data, we have all this information, and I will say this again to you, and it's very important. They did not do a blind test to say the contraindications between the COVID vaccine and how it'll interact with blood pressure medicine. They did not do the contraindications between chemotherapy drugs and the COVID shot. They didn't do it, they just jabbed you. And you know something? That is bad business. And as you can see, they're all harmoniously on ANSI's board, and they're protected because these corporations, when they fuck up, they have the FBI right there. And you have Christopher Wray, who's the director. He should be fired. He should have been fired a long time ago. In fact, Donald Trump supposedly hired the Joker. Actually, he was told to put him there because, as you well know, you are not your own man when you become president of the United States. You speak about all of this wonderful thing, this wonderful type of things. But you know what you find out? You find out when they enact something, they always say at the presidential meetings and all this stuff, oh, we're going to do infrastructure redevelopment in 2029. When they're already 10 years out of the office and you never get the infrastructure. Probably the money, but it gets appropriated improperly. That's what it is. But I'm going to leave it here. I just want to leave this to you and let you think about that and think hard. You have Albert Bourla, a veterinarian who's leading that company. It doesn't matter. Maybe you're from the veterinarian section, but, he had a bunch of sheep to give this to. And he had the audacity not to stand up with his arm rolled up. He should have been the first one. You know what that tells me? He didn't trust his own injection. That's what it tells me. 203-556-1493 or Daryl, Daryl, TQRS @yahoo.com. I thank you. And once again, this is about, the CEO, Albert Bourla, giving the injection to the sheep. And it's terrible to say that.